All right, so get this. Part bear, part cat. It's in the name. They're called bearcats. They smell like popcorn. Some say corn chips, but they aren't related to bears or cats. What exactly is a binturong? Welcome to 10-Minute Tuesday here on Animals, Nature, and You. I'm your host, Rick Schwartz, and I'm very glad you're here. And of course, today's topic is probably going to be one of my favorite topics of all time, the binturong, also known as the bearcat. I know I could have opened with this. I could have opened my very first episode being about binturongs and bearcats because I can talk for hours about them. And this is 10-Minute Tuesday, so we're going to try and distill it down. We'll see what happens. I gave myself permission to do this episode, though, because last week's conversation with John, we talked about red pandas and tree kangaroos. He was nice enough to have me on his podcast, and then I had him on my podcast, a little podcast swap. We also talked about binturongs, and during that conversation, he brought up the fact that in his experience, going to zoos and getting behind-the-scenes tours and getting up close and personal with binturongs, to him it smells more like stale corn chips. And he's like, Rick, I got to ask you, you love binturongs, you've worked with them hands-on. Do they smell like popcorn to you? Here's the thing. I truly believe there's somewhere in between all of that. Popcorn smell and corn chip smell is where the smell lands on our nose. What's interesting, though, is, of course, the human mind tries to justify what we're smelling, what we're seeing, what we're hearing. And I think when you're in the zoo environment, you've got popcorn stands, you're eating popcorn, someone else is eating popcorn, and you think, oh, what does that smell? It must be popcorn. Your brain justifies it as popcorn. Either way, for me personally, I love the smell. It is the best smell ever. And the next question, of course, comes up is why? Why do they smell like popcorn or corn chips? And when I first started working with binturongs back in the early 2000s, the literature at the time was there's a gland that they have on their butt. They mark their territory. So they are in the family of Viverridae, which is a type of carnivore. There's civets and genets in that family, and civets and genets have been used for a very long time, using their musk and what they have for their scent marking tools to be in perfumes, believe it or not. So because binturongs are part of that family, it was assumed like this is their scent gland. It's just how it works. Fast forward to today, though. The details, Duke University and a couple other people did some research on this. It ends up, and I've got it here on my side computer because I want to make sure I get it right. It ends up, there's a chemical compound that happens that is called 2-acetyl-1-pyrroline, or pyrroline, depending on how you want to say it. The abbreviation in chemistry is 2AP. Now, 2AP is prominent in popcorn. When the kernel heats up to a certain temperature and pops, that heat creates a chemical reaction with other things, compounds in the popcorn, that then creates 2AP, extreme heat. This happens also when you cook rice. The extreme heat releases the 2AP chemical. Different variables, so popcorn and rice don't smell exactly the same, but they're very close because there's different amounts of the 2AP in there. Ends up, binturongs also create 2AP, but wait a minute. They don't heat up to these extreme temperatures of popcorn and rice to release the smell. No, they don't. The research found that the acids and other things in their urine, mixing then with bacteria, creates a chemical reaction that's not heat related, that releases the 2AP, the exact same chemical in popcorn and cooked rice. What? It's not a gland. It's not. It's just their pee and bacteria. The 2AP can be found in other scenarios too. Bacteria breaks down in a wide variety of other ways, releasing certain smells. You talk about human BO, that's another version of it, not the 2AP, but just how bacteria build up and then break down can create odors and smells. Fascinating stuff. In the show notes, whether you're watching this on YouTube or checking this out wherever you listen to your podcast, I will have the link to the study done by Duke University. Information also out there about this is done, I think it's the Atlanta Zoo has it on their website, so I'll put a link for that too. So let's talk a little more about binturongs, shall we? While I have you here, just fascinated by the stinky smell. So some of my favorite things about them, they are elusive in the wild. They would rather not have conflict. They are carnivore. They're classified under that. So dogs, cats, bears, skunks, raccoons, all of that. Their family of Viverridae, then, like I mentioned earlier, has civets and genets. This is a rare, lesser-known group of carnivores found in Africa and Asia. Lesser known to us here in America and the zoo world. So you go around zoos, you probably see a binturong or a good binturong habitat. Not as often you're going to see civets and genets. It's just, for whatever reason, that's just how it is. There are some zoos that do have them, though. They're fascinating animals. So amazing. The cool thing about binturongs, although they are carnivore, they have the dentition or tooth structure of a carnivore, digestive system of a carnivore. They are, from the studies that are out there now, say they eat about 80% vegetation, so fruits, vegetables, leaves, and about 20% actual carnivore behavior. So they're going to find eggs, birds, fish, small mammals, lizards, reptiles, things of that nature. They aren't a super aggressive pounce and kill predator like, say, a jaguar, but they're opportunistic when it comes to eating meat and finding other critters to eat. In the wild, like I mentioned, they're elusive. They would rather not be around people, so they disappear easily. Black coat. They can climb. They are nearly silent when they walk through these thick rubbery pads that they have, which are great for grabbing onto a tree. Also for grabbing onto the tree, very sharp hooked claws. When you look at claws in animals, if they come out, we could do a whole episode about claws, by the way. When they come straight out and then hooked, those are usually for tearing things open like trees. Those can be used for digging really well. So think about meerkats. Perfect example about a digging tool. Binturongs have short hooked claws, great for grabbing and holding on. You'll see those also in a lot of like tigers, lions. Other predators are going to swipe with their paw to grab on to their prey item. Binturongs tend to use it for climbing, though. Now get this, when they're climbing down out of a tree, they come down head first. They hug with their front limbs. The back feet turn 180 degrees, so they can still utilize their claws and the grips those have. And then this other part, they have a prehensile or grasping tail. They are one of two carnivores on this current planet that we call home that have a prehensile tail. So it's kind of cool. The other one is called a kinkajou. Serves sort of a similar niche in the rainforests of South America and Central America, but different. It still has a lot of the same climbing abilities as the binturong. Binturongs are larger, but nonetheless, they'll use that tail. They'll wrap it around to help slow their descent. Even if the tree's too big to hold on completely around with the tail, they'll still hug it as best they can to help create friction to slow that ascent. The tail could also be used as an anchor. They're going to wrap that around a branch and reach out with the front legs while the back feet and the tail hold on so they can transfer the weight to go from branch to branch sometimes. They're not like monkeys. They're not going to hang from that tail. They're not going to swing through the branches, but they will move through the trees if they can. More often than not, though, if they can't make a safe connection by still holding on to the tail, they're going to climb down out of their tree and then climb up the other tree. Nonetheless, though, I love these animals so much. Great nocturnal behavior. Now, behaviorally, they're mostly crepuscular, meaning up in the twilight hours, morning and evening, but they're very good at nighttime nocturnal behavior as well. Great nighttime vision, awesome whiskers that come forward. I remember one time I was walking a binturong back from an event back to his home, and it was fairly dark out. The path is sort of lit. Man, his eyes were dilated. He has his whiskers out, and he's walking like, oh, I'm checking things out. Great sense of smell, too. So even when the hearing, although is good, and the eyes are good, the sense of smell is outstanding too. So great sense of smell for finding food or sensing danger, whatever it might be, or whatever you maybe find a mate. Who knows? Find some popcorn. So I do want to jump last part of this episode. I want to talk about binturong conservation. Where are they found? They're found in Southeast Asia. So think of rainforests like orangutans, Malaysia, Borneo, Philippines, all that sort of those islands through there, and then into the mainland area too. But here's what we don't know. We don't know what their numbers are in the wild. We don't know how they're doing. They're listed currently on IUCN as vulnerable, meaning we know that there's a challenge they're facing in the wild. And the most recent thing does show the numbers are most likely dropping. We know this due to habitat loss. So think about orangutans. You've heard a lot probably about orangutans and loss of habitat due to deforestation for palm oil plantations. Now, orangutans have less habitat. They have less space they live in than the binturong. It's found in a broader area. Nonetheless, when you hear about what's happening to orangutans, it's happening to binturongs also. They do share that space. I think binturongs in general can live in a more diverse habitat, perhaps, than the orangutans. But either way, it's that similar type of area without going into too much detail. Now, here's what I'll do for you. I'll put down in the links below the study that I mentioned regarding the 2AP, right? 2AP in chemical in the urine. I will put down a link also for Atlanta Zoo. They've got a great page about this whole popcorn smell urine thing. But also, I'm going to put a link down to AB conservation. Now, why AB conservation? Arctictis binturong is a scientific name for the binturong. AB conservation. So it's a binturong conservation group that's been around for a while. I have followed them forever on social media. Never really reached out to them, though. But now that I'm an independent podcaster and wildlife educator, I don't have to worry about someone else approving me reaching out to them. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put links down below for their website, for their social media, and I'm also going to reach out to them and see if maybe there's something I can do to help them out, because they are doing the work. They're one of the only groups I know of currently doing actual work in the rainforest for the binturongs. And, I think, their website too, it's got a picture of a binturong with its butt turned to you and a bunch of popcorn. You'll see it. I'll put the link down below. You'll see it there. So, yeah, it strikes me. I didn't realize it was the bottom of the page till I scrolled down. So there you have it. Binturongs are awesome animals. The ones I've worked with have a great character, great personality. They're very smart. And I can relate to the idea of sometimes people show up, you're like, ooh, I'd rather just have my own space. And I love the fact that they're going to have fruit salad instead of go hunting. And if they find something else, then sure, I'll eat that too, but whatever. Great animals all around. Let me know, do you have a favorite animal that I should talk about, that we should look into, that we should do more? Maybe I could find somebody for you that specializes in that species, and we could do a deep dive together with that person. Let me know. Let me know in the comments, either on YouTube or find me on social media. This has been so much fun for me, having everyone join me here on this curious odyssey of animals, nature, and you. It's been a lot of fun building this platform. It's only a couple months old, and already we're getting a lot of engagement, and that's because of you. Thank you so much for showing up, for listening, for watching, whatever it might be. And if you haven't already, please subscribe here on YouTube if you're watching the video, or on your platform that you're listening for your podcast. You can subscribe or follow depending upon what you have, because that way you will not miss any future episodes. Every Thursday, we have an interview with someone doing some awesome work. Every Tuesday, our 10-minute Tuesdays, which tend to go over 10 minutes. Sorry. It's just the nature of how it works. If you want to get a hold of me, you can find me on my website, zoologyrick.com, or anywhere on social media that I am active, Zoology Rick. I'll have all the links down below for that. This particular podcast also has its own little corner of social media on Instagram, Animals, Nature, and You on Instagram. You can connect with me there. Feel free to comment or leave ideas. Like I said, I would love to know, what's your favorite animal? And what's your favorite animal and why? Let me know on social media, however you want to connect. You can leave a message even on my website if you wanted. And yeah, I think that'd be a fun way for me to try and push myself outside my normal bubble of people I know. Who could I find to discuss your particular favorite animal? And then maybe we could sort of do this sort of deep dive together. I think that'd be fun. That'd be a lot of fun. All right. Well, I can't thank you enough for being here. And I think I'll wrap this up like I always do. Have a good one, everybody.